Hello, Stacey Blackfeather Intuitive. Welcome to another Demystify the Divine weekly readings and tools to connect. And happy New Year to everyone. So excited that 2022 is done. I totally cleared that energy out like nobody's business. And I got a funny story to share with you. So 2022 was really kind of a rough year for me, as it was for many of us. And I decided this year that I didn't want to go out for New Year's, that I really just wanted to keep everything low key, to really be very reflective, to connect with myself, and really kind of, I want to say, make some decisions, some plans around how to completely release all of that energy and to move into 2023 with a new mindset, a new outlook, a new everything. And it's exactly what I did. I stayed awake for the sort of the ball drop, and then I think I was like sleeping by 12:15 or something like that, because I had done a lot of ritual and routine and all the rest of it. And in the morning I woke up, jumped in the shower, felt really good. Like I felt light, I felt free. And I jump out of the shower and I go into my closet and my light won't turn on. And I'm like, well, this is weird. Like, I just changed the light bulbs a couple of weeks ago, so I know that there's nothing wrong with it, but okay, whatever. So I get dressed in the dark. I go into the bathroom to put my face on, and I go to turn the light on and there's no light. And I'm like, oh my God, we're out of power. And instantly I got the message that this was my validation that I have been reset. It was a reset. And I laughed. I'm like, all right, thank you for the reset. I'm all about it. I will take it. I feel it. Thank you, universe. Bring me more. And I have been able to consistently keep that reset energy up. So really excited for 2023. And I hope that you all are excited as well and enjoying some of that energy. So welcome to those of you who are brand new. We've got quite a show for you. Thank you so much to all of you guys who show up every week. I'm so excited to see you in 2023. Can't wait to see what this year holds for all of us. For the show, we're going to have some channeling. We're going to do a word or a phrase of the week. We're going to do some card pulls. We're going to do some I want to say some reflective questions that allow us to take the general reading and individualize it, make it work for you. I'm happy to give tips and tricks on how to connect with your own oracle or tarot decks as well, and really start to build up your confidence with some of these wonderful tools that we have to be able to connect with our inner guidance. So we've got a jam-packed show. And without further ado, I'm going to close my eyes, go into my happy place, and see what our word or our phrase of the week is today. This is an interesting message. Passive activation or application. Sorry, passive application. So I feel like anytime we talk about passive, the idea behind it is, and of course we think passive aggressive. That's not the energy I'm getting here. It's not negative. Passive is being relaxed. Passive is observance. Passive is taking our time, being gentle, being in flow with what presents itself. Passive application. I feel like this is a message for many of us who are like, go, 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 rock on, and I'm going to, go all in. I feel like it's not so much that the guidance is to not apply action to our inspirations and to things moving forward, to not move forward and embrace 2023. But the energy here this week is to be a bit reserved about it. It's not an energy, 2023 is not an energy where we have to be all in all the time, at least not right now. I feel like it's about easing us into the energy. We've been through a real wild ride over the last 3 years. So moving into 2023, again, it's disconnecting in many ways from the energy of the past, but it's also understanding, okay, I'm applying what I've learned, I'm applying wisdom, I'm applying knowledge. I'm also applying the fact that I've got dreams, goals, and desires, and let's get her done. But at the same time, I'm doing that without a sense of urgency, without a sense of push. And not that drive is bad, but not overly driven. So I'm definitely feeling the energy here of bringing some of our actions into more of a balanced space. And I think this is funny because I'm such a go big or go home person. So getting passive application, I'm like, what is that? We're either all in or we're all out, right? But that's the message for this week is where in your life are you maybe driving the bus? Where in your life are you maybe pushing something that might need a little more time to come to fruition, might need a little more time to gestate. And I'm not saying that what you want to create or realize doesn't require action or movement. It's just this week, ease into it. This is a big year for one of the themes is creative fusion. So it's a big year creatively. This is a year for everyone. Whatever it is that you want to see come into the world, this is the year to make it happen. So there's definitely a lot of creative flow. What is it that I'm creating? Focusing on the co-creative process, the manifesting process. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be, 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds. So this week, take your time. Don't be afraid to sit in an observer stance for a little while and see what that feels like. And I don't know about you guys, but when I started learning about what it actually meant to be an observer in my own life, I have a hard head. It took me a while. It took me a long while to figure that out. What does it mean to actually observe myself while I'm, out and about in the world and doing things? So I feel like the observer message is equally significant as well for all of us to really pay attention to, am I observing? Am I taking the time to observe the choices I'm making, to observe the opportunities that are in front of me? Because it's okay to observe for a while. And observing means no action other than what you're witnessing. You're just observing it, and you're observing it without judgment. So where in your life this week can you observe in your own life without judgment? And it doesn't mean you're not going to take action eventually. It just means you're taking time to observe it right now and see where things are at with that. So very interesting. All right, I'm going to tap in and do a little bit of an angel channeling before we get into the full reading. And we'll see who comes through. So I'm going to go into my happy place and open myself to the Archangelic Collective. Greetings, dear ones, and celebrate this new year with much joy and fervor in the process. I am Archangel Metatron, and I am happy to be connecting with all of you to convey an important message around the concept of action versus inaction or non-action. As you have already been discussing, there is a tendency on your planet to push through to the other end, to be in a space of all work and no play, that there must always be something that you produce, something that you are constantly doing in order to be a productive, quality member of society. And we in the Archangelic Collective do not understand this. For much of the experience on planet Earth is about the understanding of yourselves in the human body, having human experiences. While there is action available to you, no one ever said that it must be constant. It is not for the human body to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is much to be learned and gained from stillness and from inaction. Much is said through silence. Much is conveyed when there is nothing happening. For in the nothing and the stillness, so much is going on energetically. This is what humanity has missed. This is a secret unlocked or revealed, if you will, in that what appears to be inactivity in reality is creating the sustainable foundation for your next path, your next steps. As you embark on this new year, where there will continue to be disruption and chaotic shift, it is important that you take time out to connect with your own energy. It is your own personal energy fields that make the shift and make the difference. This is a time for humanity to step out of the old ways of thinking and doing. It is not about always producing. It is about connection with the heart space. It is about the frequency of love and the way that you experience your frequency with another. There is much entertainment in stillness. You as a society are now opening yourselves up to this truth. It has always been with you, but it has not been practiced for many millennia. We do not wish to say that you must sit and do nothing, be idle with the engine running. But we do offer to you permission, if you will, to relax, to take it all in. As was said before, there is much chaos and shift that you are currently in as a collective. In order for you to not burn yourselves out from this energy, you must be still at times. You must take the opportunity to recharge, to rest the brain and relax the body. Give some thought to how you can embrace the energy of stillness this week, understanding and knowing that there is much that is being accomplished within that still space. Be well. Okay. I always love me some Metatron. All right, Keone, how are you? Happy New Year.
Hey,
What's going on in your world?
it's not much. I was like 15 minutes in and she hadn't spoken to me yet. I was like, that's a record.
And we didn't speak beforehand either because, as is true to form for me, I was running behind today. So,
New year, new you, right?
yeah, new year, new me. Absolutely.
Oh man,
So tell me a story. What was your New Year's like?
I was remembering when I first came on here and all they would hear is my voice and never see me. I remember that. That was
It didn't last very long. I like interaction.
you know what? New Year's and Christmas was amazing because I did something I've never done before.
What did you do?
I did nothing.
Oh, those are the best.
And I did Saturday and Sunday, Christmas, and then New Year's the entire weekend. I did absolutely nothing. It was the only time I've done absolutely nothing all year, and I enjoyed it, and I want to do more of it.
Yes. Do you feel a little bit recharged afterwards?
I did. For some reason, I had thoughts about my grandfather, which is weird because he died like 20 years ago. So
Mm.
I'm like him in a lot of ways because I got a smart mouth, and so did he. He used to say, it was just funny because it's a saying he used to say came in my head. He'd go, you could lead a man the horse. I mean, he could lead a horse to water. And you know the end of that phrase.
Sure.
He would never say that. He'd go, you could lead a horse to water. He'd tell me this, John, you could lead a horse to water, but then I'm going to whoop your ass for stealing a horse. I'm like, what?
You're like, how does that even make sense?
It's like, he goes, what are you doing with a horse? We don't have horses. And he'd always just change all of the quotes and phrases. It was the funniest thing to me.
He had his own language.
Yeah. Grandpa jokes are much better than dad jokes.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you on that.
I don't know what happens, but grandpa jokes are much better than dad jokes, you know?
Well, you know, the psychic in me right away is saying your grandfather was coming around because you were actually quiet for the first time in a long time, that you actually were able to open up enough that he was able to connect with you. So I think that's beautiful.
It is beautiful. As long as my mother doesn't come into my mind, everything works perfect. But so yeah, it was a great time. It was she might see this episode. Who cares? It was a great time. Great. It was just fun. My shows all did an end of the year episode the last week of 2022. So that was a very busy week. Except Dwayne, he didn't do his astrology show because he was really sick, but better now. But we did a final end of the year show for every episode. So it was a lot of producing at the end of that year. So it was fun.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate the producing, and I'm so glad you got some time to yourself.
It helped.
Holiday stuff, doing the holiday stuff on my own, I'm used to that because it is my recharge time because I'm working all the other time. So it's the only time when I can sort of really truly justify taking time off. And I did feel definitely a recharge this year too. So I'm glad that you got that.
Even when I used to do things during the holiday with family and friends, I'm like, the pressure is gone. I'm like, figure it out. In the beginning, I used to book everybody's flight. I used to make sure everybody had hotels. And I'm like, you know what? And no one's ever happy. So I'm like, you know what? Everybody take care of yourself. I'll see you.
Exactly. Here's my address. Here's what time dinner is. Show up or don't. We'll see you then.
See you there. I'll still love you or not love you.
Exactly. It doesn't change anything. That's so funny.
We're about to do some card pulling.
We are.
All right, let's get into it.
Awesome. All right. So this week for our card pulling, I decided to pull a card from one of my original tarot decks, the Osho Zen deck. This was a deck that I really started learning tarot with this. I tried to learn tarot with the traditional Rider-Waite deck on my own. And then when I sort of moved to Raleigh and had the time to really devote to all of this stuff, the Osho Zen was the deck that helped me to get out of my head and the memorization of what all the cards meant, and really into the intuitive reading and the intuitive flow. And it was speaking to me this morning. So here we go. Ooh, we've got Six of Cups, the dream. So Six of Cups is a very interesting energy, because sometimes it can reflect, I want to say, getting caught up in the past. Sometimes it can reflect illusions. Sometimes it can reflect nostalgia. What I'm feeling here when the energy of the dream is actually coming up, I'm feeling that the message for each of us here is that we need to let go of the idea that there is, I want to say, like anything other than that we are in the dream, like we're living the dream. And bear with me here. This is just what's coming through, because, you know, dream versus nightmare, you know, depending on where we're at in the moment, it can feel like we're stuck in a nightmare, right? But I'm feeling like the message that's coming up is giving everyone the opportunity to shift their perspective and to say, what if all of this was part of the dream? You know, we can talk about the divine matrix, a similar concept, right? What if we're all in the matrix and you remove yourself from the matrix and it's a whole different story? So I feel like this week, the sort of the message coming up is, in order to find some balance and alignment within yourself, within what you're trying to create this year, it's kind of like releasing the concept or the idea that anything has to be anything other than sort of dreamlike or dream state. If we think about the dreams that we have, not, some of them can be quite tangible and in your face, but the average dream, there are, you know, you're in weird places. There are, you know, people that are not fully formed in their bodies, but they're not freaky. There's all sorts of like things moving in weird directions. It's fantastical, right? It's whimsical. And I feel like let's all do an experiment this week. How can we choose to see our lives as though it is a dream that is giving us ideas, inspirations, hints on, you know, if I did this, maybe it would turn out this way. What if I did it this way instead? How would that shift the perspective? It's almost like what I did with my oracle cards is I took real life pictures of my artwork and I hated them. And I put a filter over them to turn them to be a little more cartoony-ish, and I loved them. I feel like that's kind of the energy of what we're tapping into here. It's like putting a different filter over our lives and just noticing, okay, if this was all a dream, would I do anything differently? Is it a lucid dream? Yes. Spoiler alert. Yes, it's all a lucid dream, because we all have free will. We all have the ability to shift and change what it is that we're seeing. And of course, in a true dream state, we do it instantly and it becomes. We actually have that ability here on Earth. It's just not as instantaneous because we haven't risen to that, I want to say, level of awareness where we've remembered how to do that in instant time. But we all have the ability. We all have the ability to think and to process. And that's why you see certain individuals who you kind of shake your head and go, wow, how did you do that? Like, that's amazing. You must have just been born with all these extra gifts. I'm going to say, no, we're all born with the same gifts. They were more open to it than the rest of us were, kind of thing. So really random, really weird messaging. Sorry that it's so esoteric, but that is what I'm getting. I've learned to trust that I don't try to sugarcoat or try to evaluate or work around what it is that I get, because usually there's a reason why it's coming through in this way. So our homework, I feel, this week is to explore the idea that if my life is a dream, and a lucid dream at that, what's working, what's not, what can I shift? How can I remove myself? I want to say, or not remove myself, how can I detach myself emotionally from some of the comings and goings that I'm witnessing, so that when I do actually make a shift or I do actually put something into practice, I'm not completely attached to the outcome. that I'm more in the space of, well, it's all a dream. And so let's just see how it all unfolds. That's part of the beauty of dreams, is that we don't know how it's going to unfold. It's a journey that we take, we're on that journey. We're on that ride. Wow. I don't even know what else to say about that, but that's the information that I'm getting. And in relation to sort of what I was getting earlier, the word of the week or the phrase of the week, I feel like this is also tying into that, in that, dreams sort of don't have time. There's no real timing involved. Things happen in their own way in space. Things happen instantaneously. So that passive application, this is a great way to do it. Feeling into that dream space. God, I feel like I'm high or something. I swear to God, I'm not. Getting this for this? Cammy's like, I am.
Wow. Throw me under the bus. No.
I'm just teasing. I don't know whether you are or not. I have no judgment on the matter at all. I saw you pop up on my screen. I'm like, okay, I can't not take advantage of this opportunity.
Like, why is it Peony producing? Oh, the cops came and knocked on his door during your live.
No, not at all. All right. So our Oracle card pull is from Work Your Light Oracle cards from Rebecca Campbell. And we've got Trust Your Path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Oh my God, I love this card. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So trusting the path. I feel very much that this week for us, it's important as we are passively integrating ourselves into this new energy and exploring the idea that there's no rush or urgency, that it's simply important that we connect to ourselves and our souls and our stillness to allow things to integrate in their own way. If we trust in the way that things are being delivered, if we trust in what is being shown on our path, how does that change our life? If we allow ourselves to embrace the world as a dream, in a dream state, and we understand that it's a lucid dream, which gives us a little bit of power and control over how to shift or change it, which really is life, then how does that change our path? And I want to say, from a collective vantage point, we need to change our path because we are in the process of creating something new and different. We are in the process of establishing that the old isn't working. It hasn't served any of us for a really long time. And we need to really open our hearts to what wants to become. But there's a lot of fear in the collective around that. A lot of people don't know exactly what that means. We've got a lot of different people on the planet with a lot of different opinions. How do you, dogs and cats living together, how do you make that all happen? How do you make that all work? Well, we make it work by trusting in the path and following our own inner guidance. If you know that your inner guidance is there to support you, to give you what you need, and you understand that everyone's got their own inner guidance to get them what they need, and you understand that your inner guidance is pure source, that's not going to lead you astray, then let's assume that everyone else's inner guidance is the same. The question becomes, are you following your inner guidance or are you following your ego? But that is a question for, those people, it's between them and their maker kind of thing. It's really about, I want to say, benefit of the doubt, trusting that everyone that is walking the path is doing their very best and they're walking in their own intuitive guidance. And what we can do by following our intuitive guidance is we can empower others to follow theirs. And it really comes down to trust. How much are you willing to trust your inner voice and your inner guidance this week? Some of us, we like to talk about it, but when it actually comes down to stepping in and following guidance that we receive, sometimes it's two different things. How can we shift that? If you follow your guidance, your inner guidance 80% of the time this week, how can you make it 85? If you follow your inner guidance 30% of the time, how can you make it 35 or 40? So trusting the path. I feel like the card itself, it's not really giving us like dun dun dun, big earth-shattering, mind-blowing information. It's saying, duh, if you were supported, what would you do? Because it's kind of saying to all of us, hey, we got your back. We got your back. And if you're still here after the last 3 years, that's proof enough that we've got your back. You are supported. You're still here. You're alive and kicking. And this is the year to thrive. So open up to that space of thriving. Whew. All right, Keone. What time is it?
It is 8:30.
Okay. So I finally remember to cue you for the cue. And you tell me the time, you big goof.
Because he always, what time is it? Like 8:30. I like when I'm in the chat, like monitoring questions and doing something, and then I hear, what time is it? I'm like, oh crap, she's talking to me. Let me press a button.
That's all right. You're multitasking.
Sweet. All right. We're going to channel some questions, right?
I'm going to channel some questions. So everyone who's watching, time to grab your own deck, whether that's an oracle deck or a tarot deck. We're going to take the general message and we're going to sort of channel some questions to individualize it so that you can, I want to say, connect more personally with the message and be able to apply it, passive application, be able to apply it to your own life. So I'm going to go into my happy place, and Keone is going to pass on a bunch of stuff to you. And remind me, Keone, to talk to everyone about the year in preview as well.
Yes, I'm excited to see what these first questions for 2023 will be, because we already know who's first in line. It's Ragu, so he's going to be first to hear the questions. But 2022 is gone. It was a great year. Now it's 2023, so we want to make sure that we do all we can to support the channel. Make sure you're hitting the like and subscribe button. Make sure you comment afterwards. Not only do live, if you can leave some comments after the show is over, that would help gratefully. We would love more and more people to come on live. So again, I always reiterate, you don't have to be on camera if you're camera shy. You can turn your camera off and have your audio. It just helps the show out, and it helps Stacy get, feel your energy better when she can hear your voice. So that's always good as well. And we're looking to do some great things for 2023. Not a lot of holidays fall on a Wednesday this year, so that's always a good thing. So no time off for me. But Stacy, as I was saying, this is going to be great. Now, the link is in the chat. Make sure you click that, come on, and you'll be backstage, and I will let you on in order. And then we will get to the live questions. So for everyone who's new, we do live readings or live questions first for people who appear on the live. Then we'll go through the chat and get to as many as we can. Sometimes we run out of time. Sometimes we got a lot of time. So getting them live will assure that you at least are first in the chute. Stacy.
All right, guys. So our very first question is, and thanks for the pressure, by the way, on all of that. Our first 2 questions of 2023. I feel like I'm letting you guys down now, but whatever. It is what it is. This is what came through. So the first card pull is, what card energy can I lean into to trust my own inner guidance? What blocks can I remove? So that's a big one. What card energy can I lean into to trust my own inner guidance? What blocks can I remove? And question number 2 is, how can I lean into my stillness this week? I feel like they were talking a lot about stillness energy, and many of us probably struggle with that. We don't always understand, I want to say, how to be still. And some of us, all we do is be still, but the stillness is fear-based and not from that space of receiving and relaxation and presence. So how can I lean into my stillness this week? All right, who have we got?
Well, we've got Ragu, first of the year.
Happy New
Hi.
Year, Ragu.
Happy New Year, Keone. Happy New Year, Stacy.
Awesome. So do you have a card deck that you're pulling from today?
Yes, Alana Fairchild, Kali. Kali
Love
Oracle.
it. All right, let's do it. So your first card, what card energy can I lean into to trust my own inner guidance? What blocks can I remove? All right. What's her name?
Kurukulla.
Okay, show me the picture again, because this is a deck that I have to do complete. Okay, so I feel like for you, what card energy can you lean into to trust your own inner guidance? I'm seeing almost like devil energy, like the tarot, the devil energy. So when we think devil, it's rebelliousness. It's exploring the other, I want to say, the darker sides of ourselves. And let me just put it out there. This has been coming up a lot lately, actually, in my readings. You know, we all have the light and dark within us. And there's this stigma out there that we have to be all light and no dark, or we have to completely eradicate the ego in order to be able to sort of ascend and do all of those things. And it's BS. That's not what we're here to do. I feel like for you this week, trusting your own inner guidance means listening to some of that shadow voice that says, I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it in a bit of a different way. You know, it's that ego voice that encourages you to be a bit of a rebel, to step outside of the daily routine and to open yourself to, it's not about, you know, the devil isn't about hurting other people. The devil is about satisfying some of those, I want to say, those true deeper needs that we have as a, you know, being in these human bodies. You know, it's exploring those different aspects. So, and what blocks can you remove? I feel like for you, the block that's sort of coming up around that particular card is this idea that you have to be something that you're not. It's like the idea that who I am isn't good enough, or I like who I am and I don't necessarily feel like I need to change it for the world, but in this one area, I feel like I can't just be who I am. It's not good enough. So I want to say work on removing blockages around not feeling good enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense for me.
All right. Card 2. How can I lean into my stillness this week? All right. What's the
Anahata Kali. Anahata is the heart chakra.
Well, and what I'm drawn to is that she's got the heart chakra on her third eye. So I'm really feeling like for you, leaning into the stillness is about the third eye and the heart connection. And I feel like for you, you live very much out of the heart space. You know, there's a heart energy. What I want to say is work this week on the alchemy of combining the intuitive guidance with the heart space. So I want to say not compartmentalizing. You know, sometimes for you, it's all heart, but then where is the soul? It's all heart, but where's the mind? Well, now I'm shifting into the mind. So now I'm being more logical and rational. The heart is not necessarily fully there, or the soul isn't necessarily fully there. So I feel like for you, leaning into the stillness, it's being very intentional about connecting the intuition with the heart space and watching what it becomes, because you're going to have the energy of the intuition, you're going to have the energy of the heart, and then you're going to have that third entity that gets created because of the alchemy of the two energies combining and coalescing. That is the energy you want to work with, is that new birthed coalescence of energy. And I'm hearing for you, take some notes after you've done your 20-minute or, you know, half-hour meditation or whatever it is. Take notes and write down the symbols that you get and write out the connections that you make. I see in your mind and in your body, there are going to be a lot of dots connected, like connecting the dots. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of clarity around this particular exercise for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stacy.
Absolutely. Sending you love as always. Oh, and there's the hand. Hi, Into. Great to see you.
Stacy, hi, Keone.
Hello.
Happy New Year to you both.
All right.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. Have a great week, guys.
Oh, next we have Melina Mortensen. Welcome back, Melina.
Hi, Keone. Hi,
girl.
Stacy.
How are you doing?
Hi.
Here.
I've been having a not such a good New Year so far. I've been having some pretty bad health issues with my dog.
Oh.
So, been crying a lot.
How old is Larry? I think it's Larry, right?
Larry, he's 11 and a half. He's got some pretty bad arthritis and he's 100 pounds. So, he's getting where he can't walk anymore, and getting him outside is really rough. So, I'm just not doing real well.
So is he a lab? Does he have lab in his
I don't know. He's a mix. I think he has some Great Dane in there.
Okay. So
But he was a rescue.
my fuzzy Dimitri years ago also ran into a lot of that, and I couldn't afford the Dasaquin that the vets were prescribing. So what I ended up doing is giving him glucosamine and chondroitin, and it was a combination that you can get at the drugstore. And I would put that in his food, and it made a huge difference in the mobility and in his movement.
Yeah, I started him on the glucosamine 2 days ago, and then I literally couldn't get him out the door. I can't. He's too heavy. So I called this morning, and they put him on tramadol. It's an opioid, just for a little while to see, but other than that, everything's just steady as she goes.
Aw, well, I'm so sorry to hear that. Anytime I hear anything about the fur babies, my heart just,
I know. I can't handle anything with an animal. I just cry like a big baby, even if it's not my animal.
Yeah, that's me too. So I'm going to ask all of our viewers today to send Larry some love and to lift him up,
you.
to lift you up, to support you, because you're him. So yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So do you have
I appreciate that
today that you would like to pull from?
No, I will let you pull. I didn't get my cards out.
Okay, no worries. So do you want a tarot, an oracle, or one of each?
One of each.
All right, let's do it. So what card energy can I lean into to trust my own inner guidance? What blocks can I remove? Oh, interesting. So you got a Wands card, sharing, and I believe this is Queen of Wands, if I'm not mistaken, in this deck. So it's your witchy side. It's embracing the fact that you have your spidey senses. It's embracing the fact that you understand, I want to say, the inner wisdom, the inner guidance. We talk a lot about sort of the ETs and the Pleiadians and how that all plays out. I was thinking about you earlier today, actually. I was listening to something on YouTube. I think it was a Cryon channeling, and someone on there was talking about Pleiades, and I was like, oh, there's Melina. So
yep, that's me.
This week for you, when you're talking about trusting your own inner guidance, it's understanding it's owning your sovereignty. It's owning that, I want to say, that queendom or that queenship. And I don't mean the queendom sovereignty from from a human perspective. I mean, it's understanding that, as you like to say, the star mother energy. So that's what you can lean into. And blocks that can be removed. The thing that keeps coming to my mind is working to integrate the ego, better integration of the ego space. And the ego space often pops up, well, especially with sort of what you're dealing with on the 3D level with Larry. The ego space is going to be very uncomfortable, because what does the ego do? The ego tries to save us from pain. It tries to save us from any kind of hurt, anything that is going to, right? And especially from that heart space, and you're very heart connected to the animals. So I would say this week, the block is really the ego, because what's happening is the ego is coming up, and you're crying, you're having your tears, but then in other areas of your life, the ego is coming up and saying, nope, we can't feel anything. We can't receive anything, because we're already feeling and receiving too much over here. We're going to block it. And sometimes when we block it, we say things we don't necessarily mean, right? We come from a different space and place within ourselves. So I want to say, just be aware of that. And I would say, refrain from doing anything or saying anything until you've had, a few minutes to sort of reflect, and then sort of step in, or then make decisions type thing. I do feel that he's going to be okay. I do feel that you're going to find a solution that, I want to say, extends his quality of life, and that's really what you're looking for. Is you want him to be happy and to be pain-free. I do feel that you're going to be able to find that for him. So I'm just getting that right.
Well, that's great. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. How can I lean into my stillness this week? Oh, this is a big one. So it's like the Tower card in Tarot, the crumbling. And it says, what are you clinging on to? So if we think about the tower that's crumbling, we're hanging on for dear life to one piece, right? One piece. But what are we really hanging on to? That piece is still fallen to the ground. It's kind of like, I used this analogy, I feel like it was last week when we did the show, but it's like the movie Contact, when they're creating the vessel that she's going to go up and do. And in the blueprints, there's no fixture for the chair. And they insist on putting on a fixture. And so eventually what happens in the movie is the thing breaks away and she's floating. Yeah. Right? There's that floating. I feel like it's tapping into the trusting your path. If you're clinging on to something, is what you're clinging on to an illusion? Or are you clinging on to source and trusting that, okay, source has got this. There's a plan. There's a reason why this is happening. And I'm going to open myself to receiving that. When we're talking about the leaning into your stillness, I feel like the stillness for you is actually the free fall. So I feel like for you, when you're doing your meditation and connecting with this concept of stillness, what you're going to be experiencing is, how do I feel stillness when I am free falling and I'm not hanging on to anything? It's the illusion, right? The dream or the illusion that there's anything really actually happening here, or the illusion of this one little piece of concrete is actually going to help me. It's no, I'm going to choose to free fall, because when I free fall, I'm surrounded by source. Source is lifting me up. The wings are carrying me, right? Does that kind of make sense the way I'm explaining that?
Yeah, it does. That's always been kind of a little battle with me, is the surrender. Oh. And yeah, so, you know that about me.
Well, and I'm right there with you. I struggle with surrender too. What I'm feeling here is, don't even use the word surrender. Choose stillness. Okay. Just choose stillness. We don't have to bring surrender into it. Especially if we're thinking about sort of the crumbling, it's kind of like, it is what it is. I'm not going to be able to hold up this entire building. So why bother trying? I'm going to instead allow myself to be lifted up by source. I am going to allow myself the stillness and the peace that comes from not having to worry about how I'm going to keep all of this stuff up. I'm present.
Trusting. Okay.
Yeah, I'm present and I'm trusting in my path. And I'm a witchy woman. So I got all my abilities. I got all my powers there anyway. So I'm going to lean into that. I'm going to lean into what I know, and I'm going to lean into who I am.
Okay. All right. Well, I love who I am. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Sending you love, sending Larry love. I see that some people in the...
Yes, thank you to everyone for all the lovely comments. I feel the love for me and Larry. Thank you.
Yeah, we're sending lots of love your way. All right. I hope you have a great week.
Thank you. You too. Bye, Keone.
Bye.
Bye, Stacy.
See you later.
How come when you read everyone else's card, it's all positive? Every time you do one for me, it's all doom and gloom.
I don't know. Maybe your guides are trying to give you a universal frying pan to the head.
You pull a card for me, it's like, well, you're gonna accomplish nothing. I'm like, oh, thanks, Stacy.
Uh-huh.
All right, we have Stacy on here, so we've got the two Stacys. All right.
Hey,
Hey,
Stacey, how you doing?
Hey, Keone. Doing good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. How did you celebrate bringing in the new year?
I just stayed in and was really low key. It felt super nurturing.
Sounds
You
like
know, I
exactly
got
the
stuff
kind
to
of
do like a vision board and all this, and I haven't done that yet. That felt like a lot of pressure, but like I was just kind of like, yeah,
No, I
just
totally
went
get that.
inside.
That was me too.
Yeah.
I had all sorts of plans for my time, and what I ended up I did do some of it. Like I did a really cool spread for myself for 2023, a card spread, and I did a burning ceremony. But I had like this list of all of these different things. I was like, you know what? After the spread, I'm good. I laid down for a nap. I'm like, okay, I'll do the burning ceremony later on. I won't do it right now. So I totally feel you on that. That's
Nice. And on like New Year's Day, I like grabbed a couple cards from each of my decks. And so that
Oh,
was
isn't
really
that the
fun.
best?
Just like, let's see what everything has to say.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So do you have a deck for yourself today that you want to pull from, or did you want me to pull?
Well, I do have a deck, but I'm really, really intrigued. Like, I'm really feeling your Oracle deck.
Okay,
'Cause
awesome.
I had grabbed
Ooh, yes,
this.
Calvary's Angel
I just
Guide.
love the Oracle deck you're working with today.
This is a fabulous deck. I highly recommend it, especially for anyone who identifies as a starseed. This is an amazing deck. So she has Work Your Light, and she also has the Starseed Oracle, which I pull out from time to time as well. So yeah, let's pull a card for you. So what card energy can you lean into to trust your own inner guidance? What blocks can you remove? Awesome. The Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits and Soul Tribe. Check this out. So
Nice.
when we're talking about trusting in your own inner guidance, I feel very much for you this week, it's about connecting with your peeps. It's connecting with that soul family, and you're trusting your inner guidance, and you're also sharing it with those that you trust. And it's not sharing with people so that they can say, oh, I'm not getting that, or where did you get that from? It's sharing with people so they can say, that's fabulous, and I really support you in that, and what do you need from me in order to be able to make that happen? So I'm feeling a lot of community for you this week, and really connecting with people of like mind is really going to support you. And then with the blocks, I feel like you've got one person in your tribe that actually, I feel like their energy right now, not always, not across the board, but their energy right now does feel a little blocky. It feels literally like I'm looking at a bunch of blocks and squares. And I feel that right now you're sort of expanding in a more, I want to say, spherical way, or I would say like a fireworks way, where there's some structure to it. And this person that I'm seeing is a little bit stuck in their own box, is what it feels like. So be aware of that, because I feel like that person's energy, even though it has nothing to do with you, it's like either they're sending it to you or you're just sitting in it, and it's blocking your view for in terms of what you're trying to receive and how you're trying to move forward. So yes, be in community, but also be very open and aware to how you're being received, and who is receiving what, and what they're sort of sending back to you.
That's helpful to hear, and it resonates.
Okay, good. I hate when I have to give readings that are like, your bestie sucks right now, and this isn't good, but it is what it is. All right, so how can I lean into my stillness this week? You're gonna love this. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking, keep facing your true north. Oh, I wish I got messages like that.
That's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
True. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So how can I lean into my stillness this week? I feel like for you, again, it's that not overthinking message. And there's something that you've been spinning with, you've been ruminating about, I want to say for the last 2.5 to 3 weeks. It feels like something that it's like you were doing it, but in midstream you decided you wanted to kind of go in a slightly different direction. It's almost like a reinvention of the wheel kind of energy. And I feel like this is coming up to say, no, don't reinvent the wheel. Just keep on the path. It doesn't mean that you have to keep on the original path. If you want to go on the new path, do it, but you don't have to reinvent it while you're doing it. Just walk the path is what I'm feeling. So less is more. And when they say keep facing your true north, I feel like your true north has shifted a little bit. And part of that feeling like you're shifting midstream is connected to that shift, where your true north originally was here, but now it's here because everything is sort of turned on its axis. So now you're heading to your new true north. And I feel like you're getting to know what that true new north is. Yes, true new north. Oh my God.
I got it. It registered.
tongue twisters. One final thing. I'm loving the aqua colors in the rocks. And the aqua for me right now, for you, I feel is very deeply connected to high heart. So you're going to be doing a lot of work, heart chakra blended with the throat chakra, but from a higher frequency perspective. So talking a lot to your higher dimensional guides. Sorry, not talking to them. You can talk to them, you can ask them questions, and then it's about receiving from them. And I don't feel that you're going to be receiving words. I feel that you're going to be receiving experience, like physical movement, physical experience in the body. There's going to be a lot of shifting that's occurring. Open to it. I feel like the message is actually in the feeling and what's transpiring in the body, not so much a message that is verbal in communication. So I know that's a little pie in the sky, but just hearing that around, as soon as I saw the aqua color, that's what came through for you.
Cool. That's such a beautiful card too.
Yeah, these cards are gorgeous. So if you're really drawn to them, I highly recommend. It's Rebecca Campbell. She's a Hay House author, so you can get it through Hay House, or if you don't mind, Amazon, 2 days Prime. You know, it's a great deck. And then her Starseed Oracle deck is amazing too. I love that one.
All right. Thanks so much. That was really, really a wonderful reading.
Awesome. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Happy to provide. Cool. Well, sending you lots of love. It was wonderful to connect with you right off the hop in 2023, and have a great week.
All right. You as well. You too, Keone.
All right. Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks.
And next we have Francis Fan.
Francis, hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. How was your 2023 embracing?
It was good. It was good. Started off well.
Good. I love to hear that. So are you, do you have a deck that you want to pull from today, or do you want me to pull for you?
I do, but I would like you to pull from your deck today.
All right. Sounds good. Do you want the Oracle or the Tarot, or one of each?
Let's do one of each, please.
One of each. Awesome. Okay. So Francis, what card energy, High Fuzz, can I lean into to trust my own inner guidance? What blocks can I remove? So you got patience. 7 of Pentacles. What I'm really drawn to in this particular card actually is sort of the cycle of the moon. And I feel very much that the energy that around the blockages is removing cycles, removing this idea that you have to show up and do something in a particular way for a particular period of time. I'm also really feeling here, obviously we're looking at sort of a Mother Earth figure, and she's pregnant, she's about to give birth. I'm feeling like in many ways, not that you're about to give birth in the physical, but I'm feeling in many ways that this is you, in that there's sort of this pregnant pause that's occurring in your life, and you're in what I call the Phoenix growing phase, where you're gestating a lot. You are receiving. You don't necessarily have a fully clear vision of where you're going and what that's all going to look like a month from now, but you're definitely in a space of receiving. And I feel like in the next 2 weeks, 2 weeks to 3 days, 2 weeks and 3 days actually is when I'm hearing. There's going to be a real turnabout where I feel like the idea that you've been gestating, or the concept that you've been gestating, now suddenly presents itself, and it gives it an opportunity to birth itself. And I feel that there will be a birthing that is involved, but patience is required. And it's funny, I am not a fan of this word. I'm just not a fan of this word. And yet when I'm holding this card, I can't help but recognize all of the beautiful rainbow colors that are coming out of this. And it really is, rainbows are miracles. And so I feel like, would I rather bulldoze through something and get something that's, you know, maybe sort of what I want, but not fully, you know, maybe it's kind of a half-assed version? Or do I want to lean into the energy of patience and have that miracle that is so worth the wait show up, so that I have even more than I ever imagined? And that's what I feel is sort of transpiring for you. Not that you're in a big rush. I don't feel a lot of like bulldoze energy with you, but I do feel there's a stirring of the, okay, what are we doing? You know, there's only so much time. So I feel that the bulldoze is kind of rising a little bit to the surface. And this is saying, don't let it rise. Don't let it come out into the light. Don't give it any energy, because you are working to release some patterns and cycles, and you are about to give birth, and you don't want to birth it prematurely. You don't want to ruin what's coming through. I also am feeling like, and I know we have talked about this in the past, but I feel like around career, there's something big that's going to be coming up for you. It feels like an interesting opportunity. I want to say, be open to correspondence. Don't jump on it right away, but be open to correspondence. Be open to a back and forth dialogue around something. I want to say, I'm getting the 7 here. I feel like 7 days from now, or the 7th day. So like next Tuesday, I feel like something's coming up. So just kind of be open to that. I don't know that it's necessarily the big aha, but I want to say it's important. It's significant. There's something there for you that you'll want to explore. How can you lean into your stillness this week? Ooh, interesting. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, and divine plan. So leaning into your stillness week, the thing that really stands out to me is the divine plan. And I feel like it kind of ties in with the patience and the Earth Mother who's about to give birth. I feel very much for you that there is a divine plan. There is method to the madness. There is a reason why, from your divine blueprint perspective, you've been invited to lean into that patient space, because not only are there lessons of growth that are happening within this, but there is a divine plan. And if we think about I call him Master J, we think about Master J, Jesus, there was supposedly there was a plan for his life as well. I happen to believe Jesus was a starseed. That came to me fairly recently, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I not clue into that for so long? But there's definitely, I feel like he came onto the earth and incarnated to really show people what they all could be, you know, who they all were. And it took him a lot of patience to have to do that, right? And his life was so short, but look at the impact that it made. And he laid foundations for all of us to be able to sort of, I want to say, move forward in whatever that sort of journey is that we're taking. So there is a divine plan for you. And I feel like that's really the message. When you're talking about leaning into your stillness, it's leaning into the stillness with the trusting your path, not trying to say, okay, I'm leaning into stillness and now my monkey mind is going cuckoo and saying 57,000 things about, but there's this, and oh, but there's that factor, and oh, there's another thing. This is coming through to say, no, I'm just going to breathe into the plan. It is a plan, and I'm opening myself to that, and I am okay. I also want to just say to you, with Melina's card, with the crumbling and the idea of, you know, why do we hold on so desperately to something that really isn't supporting us or sustaining us? You already lived this lesson. you walked away from something that was not serving you. So follow through with this. You're still sort of, I want to say, you're in a bit of the free fall. This is coming up to say trust in the divine plan, because the free fall doesn't mean that you're going to sort of land on your butt and be completely crushed. It's more like, no, we got you covered. Look at all the abundance in this card. Look at all of the growth. There's enough resource here to keep you going. We got water, we got land, we got we got cups to drink from. We've got trees for air. I mean, there's so much going on. Also, we've got the Egyptian Sphinx. So I feel like it's not the Ankh, but that's what I'm seeing. The Sphinx is making me think of the Ankh. So I feel like your symbol really is the Ankh, not the Sphinx today. And it's that life everlasting, and understanding that we're always in a never-ending cycle that allows us to sort of explore that dream space and just sort of see what comes up and comes through, and allows us to maneuver within this beautiful garden and take advantage of all that it has to offer.
Awesome.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's what I got for you.
That was a lot, but I got it. I got it. Thank you.
All right, I'm glad. Thank you so much for coming on today. Happy New Year,
No.
and have a great week.
Yeah, thank you, Keone.
All right, thank you, Francis.
All right, bye.
All right, that was a little jam-packed, wasn't it?
Yes, well, I like that. I can handle jam-pack.
Let's start the year off right. Sorry for those we didn't get to cards in the chat. Please try to come on live. Sometimes we only have 2 people. We get to them, and sometimes we don't. But we do appreciate you sending and asking your questions. Great start to the year. Of course, I start today's show, and the reason why I'm looking like this is because I have to have this light on, and I have a massive headache.
Aww.
That's okay. Don't you awe me.
I'm on you anyway. I'm sending you lots of love too for a calm, peaceful headspace.
You knew I had a headache, though.
I didn't actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, you didn't?
Did. So I'm sorry now, because I'm extra loud. I'm not the person you want around when I'm talking when you have a headache. So I apologize in advance.
You're fine. I turned you down.
Oh, good. Even when I'm trying to be quiet, I'm loud. I've just given up. I am who I am. So
Probably. Over this real quick. SR Kiss says hello. It's Susan from Ontario.
hi, Suzanne. It's actually Ontario. She's from the same province that I am in Canada.
I read that too fast. And just going quickly by the hellos, just to make sure if you missed any. Stacy said hello. Richard said good evening. Keone, always here saying
Lisa, so nice to see you.
SR Kiss saying hello, Keone. I tell you, sometimes they come here for you.
Not tonight. Jen, hi Jen. Haven't seen you in a while. I think you're in Australia, if I remember. So sending lots of love to Australia.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Francis, who was just on, said hello earlier. And Ragu, always the protector of me, says get well.
Sweet. I love it.
All
well,
right.
Thanks everyone so much for coming on and bringing in the new year with all of us together. So excited and grateful to have you all here. Year in preview season. We've only got 3 weeks left of the year in preview, and I'm booking up really fast. In fact, I think the next day that there's a spot open, I think is the 12th of January. So would love to connect with you if you want to get a sneak peek of what is to come in 2023. We've had some really amazing readings coming through, lots of delicious information around sort of the collective and how we are sort of being affected into all of that. And of course, all of these year in previews are very much about your personal path and what you're going to be experiencing and connecting with throughout the year. So would love to connect with you in that way. theblackfeatherintuitive.com, your year in preview. Feel free to book a session. Can't wait to connect with you guys. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Keone.
Thank you, Stacy.